Hi everyone, I am going to make some Spanish style stew chicken today. It's actually one of my kids' favorite because it's loaded with some beans so you get some extra protein. My son Marcus actually loves it because he's a power lifter, and increasing his proteins in his daily diet is super important to him. So for starters, I am going to go ahead and just put a little bit of oil, about a tablespoon of oil, into my frying pan because I just want to saute up my onions and garlic and sofrito. My sofrito I actually made from scratch myself. I use cilantro, or you could use cilantro. Blend that up with some onions and garlic and green peppers with a little bit of olive oil and some vinegar. And I usually keep mine in the refrigerator and just use them as I need them, so you can see it's super pretty. So again, like I said, I'm going to heat up my seasoning. What I did with my meat earlier, I seasoned it up and I threw it in my cast iron skillet and put it in the oven on broil, just to kind of give it a little bit of color. You could braise it in the frying pan if you like, but I usually just like throwing it in the oven, because not only when I throw it in the oven, what happens is I get some of that juice that I can add back into my stew when I'm cooking it instead of using chicken broth. All right, so I have cooked red kidney beans. I have some seasoning over here, or some oregano, black pepper, garlic, salt, achota, which is the red seasoning here. In here I have my chopped tomatoes, as well as a tablespoon of tomato paste. I cut up 2 small red potatoes and I chopped up my onion and my garlic. So again, like I said, I'm gonna throw in my onion and garlic first. All right, and this is stuff I love. It gives my food flavor. So I'm using like about 2 tablespoons, and just sauteing everything up. Normally when I make this, I also use bay leaf, but I realized I did not have any in my pantry, so I need to restock my pantry. It's a little difficult sometimes for me because I kind of cook between 2 houses, and sometimes I forget to restock my pantry and I end up restocking my boys' pantry and not mine. But on my to-do list, I gotta put bay leaf back on my list of things I need to restock my pantry on. So again, onions in here, and I'm sauteing just to get it a little soft. All right. And you know, there's not a lot of work that goes into doing this. All I did was I used some chicken thighs I had and a few chicken legs. And again, if you're big on eating more beans than meat, you can always do this without doing the chicken and use a vegetable broth and add vegetables in and make it into a vegetarian meal with your beans. And then what I would suggest you do is use red kidney beans and pink beans to give you some extra really good natural proteins. All right, so my onions are nice and soft, so they're getting limped. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add my chicken to the pot, and I want all my juice. And the nice thing about cooking stew, it's super easy and quick. You just want to get everything into the pot, all right, and then I'm gonna add my beans, and I have my beans with about, let's say, a half a cup of waters in here. And I'm using cooked beans, so you want to make sure your beans are cooked. So you could either use the canned stuff, or you can go ahead and cook it from scratch. My chopped up tomato with my tomato paste, that goes in there, and then all my seasoning. And again, when you're cooking, what you want to do is, when you get everything into the pot, let it simmer for a little while. So I first start off with super high heat, and then I'm going to turn it down to a medium low and let it simmer for about 30 minutes because I want the spices and everything to get inside of my chicken. So before I cook my chicken, I just put a little bit of salt and pepper on it first. And then, like I said, you can either put it in the oven and hit broil just to give it some color, or you can use your stovetop and, you know, fry it up on both sides with a little bit of oil. I kind of like to, you know, use oil in moderation. So, you know, put it in the oven on broil kind of cuts out me using too much oil. And look at how pretty that color is. So I throw potatoes in. One, to give it a nice thicker flavor when the potatoes are cooked down into the sauce. And since this looks nice and thick, I'm gonna add just a little bit of water to this, because I don't want all my water to cook out, and I like to kind of throw it in there so I get all that color from the beans. And then I'm gonna cover it, and like I said, let it simmer for about 30 minutes. So first bring it to a boil, and then reduce your heat to a medium low, like a number 3, and cook it for about 30 minutes. All right, so I'm gonna cover, and then part of cooking, you wanna taste. Once this comes to a boil, I'm gonna come back and actually taste it to see if I need to add more salt to it or any additional seasoning. Remember, everybody's taste buds are different. So the key really is to always taste your food so it's exactly the way you like it. All right, you can follow a recipe all day long, but when you end up trying that food, you might go, oh, it's not the way I like it, because our taste buds are different. So taste your food in the cooking process and adjust your seasoning as needed. Okay, so again, see, it's getting there. It's starting to boil up. So I'm gonna let it just boil for a couple of minutes and then reduce it and let it simmer. And once my food is done, I could serve this with rice. And if you want to change up your rice, when you cook your rice, add a little bit of turmeric and garlic to your rice, and you end up with yellow rice. Alrighty, turmeric is super good for you. So anyway, I hope you like this recipe. I will post the recipe when I get a chance this week, and you guys can try it out and tell me what you think.